Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm here with our last mini album in my series, same album, different measurements. Okay. All of these albums in the series, so it should be every Friday in October. They all have the same layout, just different paper and different sizes. Well, some of them have different paper, some have the same. But here we go. Here's your pocket. You can journal or put your pictures on the back. Oh, before you ask, this paper collection is Echo Park, Away We Go. Gorgeous collection. I absolutely love it. I'm really happy I chose to go with the craft paper as the base because this collection is very soft, kind of pastel, but like a brighter, bolder pastel. So they're just soft colors and I love it. Here's your flap. You can fit 3x4 cards, cut aparts on there. Just look at this paper. And yes, my desk is a mess, but I wanted to show you this book in its glory. It holds 5x7s. So yes, if you choose to put an actual 5x7 in this, it will take up almost the entire page except for a tiny little border. So you don't necessarily have to mat if you're going to put the pictures in. But if you're going to sell these at craft fairs or give for a gift, I would go ahead and mat because maybe they choose to do like a 4x6, right? Or maybe they choose to do, what do I got here? 2x3s. Or maybe they choose to do a 3x4, which I don't have any at the moment. I don't have any printed out. So that's what I would do. If you have a full 5x7, it's only going to get a tiny little border. So there you go. But I just love, love, love this paper because, you know, I'm always traveling. So here's that layout. We're almost there. The next page is that other flap. Great, great resources. You know, I love it. We're going to just hold on to this so I can show you the last page. It has that flap and your 2 photo mats again. You can add more if you want. Here we go. So see, you can tell that whole story in the book. If you wanted to come around, tell the story. I don't know. I'm just adding pictures so you can kind of see, get an idea of a layout. Yes, some of the pictures are the same, but look at how cute that is. Where's the picture of my dogs? My babies. So you could even, you know, tell a story of the day. Like, this is how the day started off. We went to the park. We went to the casino. We saw Santa Claus. You know, tell that story. Look at this layout. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is the full 4-page layout, just like our other ones that we had. Here is the 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Here is the 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So look at it. It's the same album, different measurements, but every size is perfect, right? Super easy. These are quick to do, great to give as gifts. And here's the tutorial. Using my 12x12 paper, you can use your 8.5 by 11. It doesn't matter. But this is my paper phenomenon craft paper. All right, so 7 1/4. All right. So this is just how I cut my paper. I know all of them are going to be 7 1/4, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut 3 of them down to 7 1/4. Then your first one is going to be 10 7/8 by 7 1/4. Your next one is going to be 10 3/4 by 7 1/4. And your top one with the little tiny measurement is going to be 10 5/8, which is the tick mark between the 1/2 and the 3/4. So 10 5/8 by 7 1/4. Now for all three of them, we are scoring them at 5 1/4 on both sides of the long side. So 5 1/4. Oh, you know what? I messed up my whole camera system the other day, but I think we'll be all right. Rotate it to 5 1/4. So you have your itty bitty little score mark. Okay, put that to the side. Get your next piece, 5 1/4 on the long side. Rotate it, 5 1/4 on the long side. That should give you your 1/4 of an inch score mark. And then your last one, you guessed it, 5 1/4 on the long side. Rotate it, 5 1/4 on the long side. Right, so let's go ahead and put those to the side. And then we need to make our pockets and our flaps. So let's just go for it. So using your scraps, whatever scraps you have, let's see how big these scraps are. Okay, so I'm gonna make my flaps first. They are 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And since this piece right here is 4 3/4, I'm gonna go ahead and make these two flaps. So 3 1/4 and 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, scored on the long side at 1/2 an inch. Okay, there we go. So those two flaps are done, so I'm going to put them there. Next, let's go ahead and do our pockets because I know these aren't going to be big enough for the other flaps. Okay, so our pockets are going to be 6 1/8 by 3 3/4. So 6 1/8 by 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. All right. So here's my two pockets. Gosh darn it. My blade, even though it's a brand new blade, for some reason it's raggedy. I gotta call Stampin' Up! And let them know I got a bad blade. Which they'll just send me new ones. It's not a big deal. All right, so here are my pockets. Now with your pockets, you need to score them on three sides, just like a pocket, at 1/2 an inch. So once on the short side, and then on the right hand side, and then again at 1/2 an inch on the left. Just so you're making a U shape. You guys know how to do pockets. Okay, and if you don't, let me know. I'll be happy to help you. All right, so there's my pockets are done. Now we need our other flaps. So our other flaps are going to be 5 by 7 1/2. So I have one scrap that is exactly that. So we need 4 of these. Let's see here. And you can always alter your measurements to whatever you like. If you want your flaps bigger or smaller or whatever. So 7 1/2. fine. So obviously on your flaps, you're going to have to trim your 5x7 photos down just a little bit because this is exactly 5. So, and then we just need one more. I'm trying to keep track of all my scraps for different projects here. All right, so I need a whole new sheet, but that's okay. Five by 7.5. And these ones are scored on the long side at 1/2 inch. So put the long side at top and the long side at the bottom. If you're going to do 2 at a time, go ahead and score them. Okay, and your last 2, 1/2 inch on the long side, 1/2 inch on the long side. Right. We are done with our paper trimmer, your scoreboard. We're done with all of that. Now we need tape. All right, so you should have your piles, and here's your base. Okay, so the tapes that I'm using, the size, are, and I didn't get them out of my drawer. I use the 3/8 inch tape for anything that has a 1/2 inch score mark. And then for my bases, I use 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 inch. So let's go ahead and tape up all of our flaps just so we can move those out of the way in our pockets. It obviously doesn't matter what you tape up first. If you're not a taper, then you can fast forward through this because you're going to glue yours in later. So glue people, hit the fast forward button. Tape people, tape along with me. So you have your 2 little flaps. And then you need to tape all 3 sides of your pocket. Okay, you should have 2 pockets. You're going to tape up all the sides of the pocket as well. And then you'll tape your 4 flaps. Yes, I work on top of whatever mess is on my mat. It does not bother me. Some people have to completely clean what they in between projects, or like they can't work on top of something else like I am. I create chaos, to be honest. My desk right now is ridiculous. Actually, it's not ridiculous right this second, but normally it is. I had to clean my desk because we had they were coming to change the air conditioner filters, so I had to clean my desk because I didn't want, you don't want other people seeing your madness. Especially like the landlord, because my desk is the dining room table, so, what in the world? Sound like an airplane is about to land on top of the car park. I've never heard an airplane that loud. Okay, so of course I had to go investigate. I don't know, it was like a little plane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 pockets, 1, 2, and 2 flaps, 1, 2, perfect. Okay, so now let's go ahead and pull out our base pieces. I'm going to put the little, this is the one that has the tiniest, score mark to the side, and put the middle one to the side. We're going to work on the big one. And we're going to go ahead and make sure these are lined up correctly and burnish. So lined up and burnish. what I'm going to do is take my 1/4 inch tape. Again, you gluers can go ahead and glue if you would like. You just have to let this dry in between placing your layers, or you run the risk of your layers moving. So, your choice. Okay, move that over, take your middle one, and make sure that is lined up and score. Do the other score line, line it up and score. Okay. All right, now we can go ahead and put this in the middle. This is why I like the score tape, because the score tape, I placed it already in the middle, so that way this one, I could just lay it down and it will just be taped to the middle. All right, making sure your pages are even. And even on the left and the right if you have your book this way. So it's the top, it's actually the top and the bottom. All right, that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna take my 1/8 of an inch score tape that I finally found. I don't have to use my red line tape. And I need to cut this first little piece off because there's no tape on it, it's just backing. All right, put that right in the middle of those 2 score lines. Okay, set that aside, bring in your last piece. This is going to be your hardest piece to score manipulate because it's 1/8 of an inch. I don't know why I picked this small measurement, but I did. And trying to do the other side is, it's not horrible, it's just, you know, it's an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so right now mine is popped up good enough. I'm not going to varnish it. I'm going to lay it down and I will varnish it when I move the pages. Okay. So same thing, you're just going to line it up, try to get it in the middle as best as you can. The middle of these 2 score lines, as best as you can. And make sure, honestly, your biggest worry is making sure it lines up on the top and bottom. If you don't get the score line exactly in the middle, it will be fine because they're such small gussets that it's not a big deal. But if you don't have your top and bottom lined up, I know one of the weeks I did it and I had to trim it. So, I mean, which is not a huge deal, but all right, so I'm going to go through now. And this is where I'm going to varnish really, really well to make sure my pages do what I want them to do. Okay, so when you have your book flat, it should look like this. When you pop it up, so it has like a little spine, it's even. So don't get worried. That was one of the feedbacks I had from the other ones. They were kind of worried that when they did this part, their book was not even. Nope, it's not going to be. The only time your book is going to be even is when you have this score line popped up like it's supposed to be, like a spine. Okay, then it's even. Right, so now we just need to put it together exactly how we did the other ones. So let's go ahead and start with our pockets. Scissors somewhere, and we're going to go ahead and miter the corners right at the X. Oh, I did that one bad. On both of them. Okay, and then we're going to burnish and burnish and burnish and burnish and burnish and one more burnish. So this varnish not only varnishes the line, but it's also making sure that my tape is adhered where it's supposed to. Now you just want to make sure that your corners don't touch. Mine kind of do, so I'm just going to take off a little tiny bit off here, just so they don't touch. Okay, and the same probably with this one. Oh no, I did that one pretty good. Okay, so now your front cover. You want to decide if you're going to corner chomp or not. So let me get my corner chomper. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and chomp my corners, just because I did for all the other ones. These are super easy to put together. You can make multiple for craft fairs, for Christmas gifts, whatever you need. Okay. All right. Back to the first page and my pocket. All right, I need to chomp bottom left. This one. Remove my backing. Make sure there's no overhang. And place it down. If you want to have a border on the bottom, you can. If not, then don't. I opted for a border, so see, you can see a tiny bit underneath there. You can always map first if you want to. If you're a type of person who wants to do the whole page, you can. I don't like to put paper, you know, this is a half a sheet of paper you're gonna not see. So I like to put my pockets down first and then mat. Some people like to do a little finger pull or a cutout or something. And then, yeah, you'll need your paper to go down a little further to cover that, but I don't do that, so not for these projects anyway. All right, so now we're on the back cover. We're chomping the bottom right of our pockets, taking off the score tape, backing, making sure there's no overhang, and again, place your pocket. If you want that border, have a border. You definitely want to make sure that you're not going on your score line and you're not going over the edge of your paper. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we need to do our other flaps. And I move that out of my way. Okay. Back to the beginning. So here we are. Right here, we just did the pocket, so now we're going to do the flap here and the flap here. Okay, so we need our little flaps, and we're going to round the edges. Okay, I'm going to varnish. Make sure there's no overhang. I'm going to turn my book because I work better from the bottom. Put this in the middle. Have a border if you want a border. Varnish it down. Perfect. All right, flip to your back page. happening here? Okay, varnish this down, take off your backing, make your book, put it, you know, whatever position is comfortable for you. Have a border or not. Down, varnish. Okay, that's it for those two. Now we need to work with our 4 flaps. And I know I'm gonna need to round these on the ends. Okay. It's funny, I can work in chaos, but I cannot work with these little pieces on my mat. It's crazy. All right. There we go. Now I'm starting, nope, I was gonna start in the middle, but I don't want to confuse anyone. So we'll start, here's our beginning. So we need to flip a page, flip the page, and now we need to have a flap that goes on the bottom left. Okay, so I'm going to take my flap here, fold it, varnish it, remove the backing, check for overhang, bottom left, which I forgot to corner around that corner. Okay. Put it in the middle. Oops. And there we go. Varnish it in. Okay, so here's your one flap. Flip the page. Now we should be in the middle, which we are, so we're doing it right. We're gonna need top left and bottom right. Okay, so top left. Like so. I'm gonna flip my book over again because I work better from the bottom. And I do the top. Okay, make sure you don't have any overhang, and then put it on the top left in the center. Make sure I centered that. I did. Okay. And then I need one on the bottom right. Okay. Pull your backing off, make sure you don't have any overhang. And yes, that is very important because if you have overhang, it'll stick to your page and it can rip your decorations and all that. So just make sure it's not there. Okay. And the last flap should be the next page, top right. Okay. So top right. And as you can see here, I had an oopsie daisy. So for me, that's not going to matter because I'm going to cover it. And honestly, that may have been, I don't know what happened there. Might have glued something there by accident, had to rip it off. I don't know. Because I'm doing this tutorial not in the same day. All right. So what did I say? Top right. So I'm going to flip my book around. And here we go. And making sure we're centered. And we're not. We were not even close to being centered or straight. What's happening here? There we go. That's good enough. All right, there's our flap. And then here's our last page. So we have it, it's all done. All right, so our mini album is all done except for obviously decorating it. But we're gonna go ahead and do a box. All right, for the box, I'm using a different color. I'm using white. And we need 2 pieces that are 7 by 9, scored at 3/4 on all 4 sides. So 7, and I have both pieces of paper here. So 7 by 9. Scored at 3/4 on all 4 sides. And 4. Okay. So on your next piece, the same thing. We're gonna score it at 3/4 on all 4 sides. So score, rotate, rotate, and rotate. Okay. So it doesn't matter which piece you use because they're both exactly the same. So for the first, this is going to be the base of the box, and so we're going to make 4 tabs and glue the box together. I'm going to cut on the long side. Doesn't matter which side you cut on. So just cut that score line and then miter. And cut on that score line and miter. I'm cutting a little bit off. It's not necessary, but that's just how I was taught to do it, so that's what I do. And then I'm gonna flip it to the bottom and do the exact same thing. Miter. And cut up a score line, miter, and miter. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and glue all 4 of my tabs and glue my box together. So you're making sure your seams match perfectly. And one more. I like to glue first because it gives the glue a second to dry, and then I don't have to wait as long. All right, so now we need to take our other piece, and I like to just cut on the opposite sides and make my tabs. That's what I like to do. So I'm going to cut on the short side this time. First I'm going to varnish. Okay. So we're going to cut up the score line. We're going to miter. Same thing. Cut up the score line. Miter. And miter. Okay. So this is going to be the front of your box. Okay. So if you have pattern paper, if you're making this out of a pattern paper, you need to make sure whatever direction you need that paper to be, that's how you cut your box, okay? I'm just using cardstock, it doesn't matter. So I like to go ahead and glue now. Some people like to go ahead and cut these squares out first. It's really your preference. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue these. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the score line. But this time I'm going to cut the square completely off. Okay. There we go. So now we need to bring our base back in. Put this together, you know, just put the lid on top. Make sure it's going to fit and work out. It does. And you're just going to glue that down. So I'm adding glue to our flap. And just glue it on your box. Give it a second to dry. Open your box gently because your glue may not be dry yet. Just kind of make sure you're varnishing inside as well. Okay. And there's our box. Where's the album? So you're going to place your album inside. And there you go. Oh, goodness. And there you are. So you have to have this kind of box because our paper would be too long if we did our standard box. So we need this type of hinge box. There you go. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.